Hello, hello, hello. Let's test this out. See if we're working. See if we're going live. I see people in the chat already. How's it going? Give me just a second. I always want to make sure that it's starting and it's working for anything. Let me see. I just got to change my audio real quick. I always like to check. It usually works. I just like to check. How's it going? All right. It's working. We're good. I'm happy. Hey, everybody. We're going to be doing some live Q&A tonight, per the usual in our monthly streams. I know I am not in the right place on my screen. Hey, guys. I know I'm not in the right place on my screen. Let me actually, how do I do that? I don't know how to respond to somebody. Anyways, I'm going to go to I got to switch part of my screen really quick. Just go to the right place, and then we'll be good to go. Let me get there really quickly. Oh, what did I do? Oops, there we go. Yeah, if I hit something on my screen, give me a second. I'm like getting there right now. If I hit something on my screen, sometimes it messes it up. Let's see. Got my thing. Don't worry about me, guys. I'm just getting there. Because then what happens is I can see everything. It's like, it like manages it for me. So I can see all the chat and everything. Okay, so we're there. Thank goodness it's working. All right, so if you've never been to one of these, it's pretty chill. We're just going to be asking questions. I'll be answering them to the best of my ability. I can't promise this. My wife said she was going to make a guest appearance, but she already put on her pajamas. So I can't tell you if that's actually happening or not. But I see everyone in the chat. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. I usually have a lot of similar people who come and ask questions. They usually have really good questions. But we got Collins, greetings from Greece, Billy, Junaid, Brian, Internet Explorer. That's impressive. From the Philippines, what's going on? Got some people from Canada, Diala. That's how you say your name. 12 a.m. in London. 12 a.m. That midnight? Good night. Thank you for joining, Suraj. I appreciate it. Let's see. We already got our first question. What do you think is the best online SQL course? I'll get to that in just a second. But just saying hi to everybody, letting people trickle in. I didn't put this on like LinkedIn, Twitter. I think I made one small post on Instagram. So there shouldn't be as many people here tonight. So hopefully I can answer more of your questions, which is always, I think, is more helpful than having like, because sometimes we'll have like 150, 200 people in here, and then there's a ton of questions and I can't get to them all. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, you know, I see a bunch of people in the chat. I know a lot of people who have been in here before. I see a lot of new faces as well, but a lot of regulars, which I always appreciate, from Montreal, UK, Africa, Europe, in the Asia area, or the Asia continents, the islands. I don't know what I'm talking about. All to say is, yeah, go ahead, ask your questions. Basically, how this is going to work is, you ask questions, I try to read them in the chat. I will try to get to them. I do prioritize members who are literally making this happen, because that's, I made this huge push. If you join the channel, like if you go to my channel, you click join and you become a member, and you get like, this is one of the perks. This is one of the perks of it, is me doing monthly live streams, which I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'm really excited that I get to do it. And so if you want to support the channel and you want, like, if I see your question, I will read it and answer it. You know, go for it. So let's get started. The first question was, what do you think is the best online SQL course? Before I answer that, actually, I'm going to try to end like at 9:15. I always end up running really late. Like I usually say it's going to be an hour, and then I run till like 9:15, 9:30, and then my wife like wants to go to bed, because this is our room is like a little side room. So I'm going to try not to run late tonight. So best online SQL course. Check out I have a video on best Udemy courses. I don't think, and I love Coursera, but I don't think Coursera has the best SQL courses. They're okay. The ones that I really like on Udemy, there's one, and go find that video because I don't remember what it's exactly called, but it's for SQL Server. I really like that one. It's super technical, which it gets pretty difficult, which is why I like it, because it's not just your typical introductory course. It's like it gets really into the specifics. I like that one the best, but it's, SQL, that's Microsoft SQL Server. But you can learn, there's some good MySQL ones as well in that video, so just go check those out. I think I may also have them in the description of this video. Let me go check. Because I usually just have it by default. That's the SQL for data. No, that's not the right one. That's the Udemy one. SQL for data analysis. Let me open this real quick. I'm going to see which one this is. Yeah, this is the right one. If you go in the description of this video right now, you can see the one I'm talking about. So go for it. That's the one I like the best. But it gets pretty technical. It gets pretty difficult, but that's why I like it. All right, let me scroll down. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Today was a really good day. Family was doing good. Kids were doing good. They all went down to sleep. I have a monitor right here. I'm watching them. So everyone's doing good. I cannot complain. Let's see. What should I make for dinner? Well, if it's early, make something hearty, right? But if it's late, make something light, like a soup or something like that. I don't know. A sandwich is always nice. I like a BLT. Peanut butter and jelly is classic. What I've been doing lately is doing like a grilled cheese peanut butter and jelly, where you do butter, put it on there. Delightful. AJ from Charlotte, North Carolina. What's going on? Emmanuel, Zimbabwe. Mark, Atlanta. Awesome. I used to live in Charlotte, so I saw that. I thought that was awesome. I live in Charleston now, a little bit farther south. What do you, Aladine says, what do you think about IBM certificate? There's two. There's a data science one, data analyst one, both on Coursera. Both are really good. If you like Python, do the data analyst one. The data science one it overlaps a lot with the data analyst one, but it just goes into the machine learning side in Python in the data science one, which I never used in my life. Well, that's not true. I've never really used it. I don't think it was worth it. But I really did like the data analyst one. I think it goes really, really in depth into a really good, comfortable level in Python. That's really what it focuses on. It's not as heavy on other skills, but I liked it for Python. Let's see. A couple people from Nigeria. What's going on? I appreciate you guys joining. Let's see. Oh, it skipped down. I skipped a bunch of questions. I apologize. I'm going back up. Can you send SQL leak code questions that are asked in the interview? No, probably not. I have a few videos on leak code questions, me solving them, and my thoughts on them, as well as a whole series on interview questions, like technical interview questions. And I think I have like a document in there that has questions and answers in there. So go check that out. You might like that because that actually would answer your question. But leak code questions, yeah, I'm not going to go through and do that. Igor, and that was from Gabria. Hope I answered that right. Igor says, what's the best way to practice our, I'm guessing, abilities in data analysts without a job? By far projects, courses and projects. I mean, that's like the bread and butter of how I learned, is just taking a course and then building something with what you've learned. That's why I don't really like courses that don't have projects already built in. They just teach you the skill. You don't usually get as much out of it. You need to build something, in my opinion at least. Based on current, and Akil said, based on the current situation regarding if there will be a recession or not, is there a hiring freeze in the USA? Some companies do have hiring freezes. Not a lot. You hear it in the news a lot, but it's actually not as bad as you think. But large tech companies like Twitter, I'm sure they're about to see layoffs, given the whole Elon Musk but buying the company and everything. They're going to have layoffs. Facebook is going to have layoffs because some companies just aren't doing well right now. They've made poor decisions or the economy's really hit them hard. But overall, 80%, 90% of companies are still doing totally fine and well. Like my industry, healthcare, we're doing totally fine. It hasn't really affected us that much. In fact, it's unfortunately done better because of COVID. Good to hear from you, Morocco. Very cool. Yassine, thank you. Discuss about the future opportunities in the data field, Akshay. So there's going to be unlimited opportunities in the data field. It has only ever continued to grow, especially even since I've been in the past 5 years, but it's blown up in the past 15 years, since the early 2000s. It's just blown up. The opportunities, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in like artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's always going to be a popular field. Data engineering is getting a huge boost lately. I think that's going to be a huge field. Data analytics, I mean, you don't have to hear it from me, but that's a growing one as well. There's a lot of companies who are wanting people who are just data proficient to create reports, dashboards, those kinds of things. There will always be a need for it. But I think there's maybe even a bigger opportunity in like just the artificial intelligence, machine learning in the next like probably 10 to 15 years. Probably a slightly larger opportunity there. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Solo, Canada, what's going on? I appreciate you joining. Let's see. Hima said, how far on in SQL one must go, like advanced SQL, to get into a data analysis? No, you don't have to learn advanced stuff. If you go through my just few videos on my channel, which is like the beginner stuff, the intermediate, and the advanced. The advanced you don't really need. The advanced is like things you'll like learn on the job and you'll learn how to do, but it's kind of harder to do just with your own practice if you don't have a use case for it. Things like, what are they called? Oh, I'm blanking. But if you go look at the advanced course, I'll probably think of it in just a second. But the advanced like lessons, those aren't like super necessary. I think if you even get through the intermediate stuff, just up till joins, like select, from, where, group by, maybe having, and then joins. If you can get there, you can get it, and like you at least can do 90% of what I do on a daily basis using SQL. That's usually most of the stuff I do. Now, as I've gotten more into it, more advanced stuff, of course I use more advanced things, but you learn those things on the job. So just learn the basics. Learn the basics, get good at them, make some projects. That's why I have the portfolio projects, do those. Bruno says, hello, is it worth it to go into a master's in data science considering how much it costs? Now that's always an interesting question. I could go on I have on previous videos, a rant on like education, higher education, what's best for people. And that's like my recommendations. This is not me telling you which is better and which isn't. But in general, if you have a good bachelor's degree, most of the time, I do not think it is worth it to invest $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, maybe even more into a master's degree, because if you go and get experience today, instead of going for 2 years, you get experience today, and just get like an entry-level job, those 2 years of entry-level job will be worth more than a master's. 2 years of experience, the extra skills you're learning, the mentorship that you get from someone who is above you is worth more than a master's degree, in my opinion. Some people disagree. That is my opinion. Master's degree can be great, especially if you're having a really tough time breaking into the field and you maybe are coming from out of country and you want to work in the US. There have been a lot of people who've told me that really worked for them. But just know your situation. You know it better than I do, but that's my general thoughts on master's degree specifically. Shahian Shao said, hey, I would love some additional Tableau projects too if you have time. I do plan on doing more Tableau, Power BI, Excel, I plan on expanding that a lot in the future. Right now I'm focused on Python, my Python series, because I have Python projects that I'm going to do with those, as well as Pandas series and Pandas projects. I've already gotten into all that stuff. So Tableau might be a ways off, maybe middle next year. I'm sorry that I have a lot of stuff planned already that I'm doing, but I do plan on doing more projects. I promise. Let's see. Ruchit, I don't know if that's how you say that, Patel. How to get a job as a fresher. I can't go into all the specifics, but check out my video, How to Become a Data Analyst in 2022. I lay everything out in that video. That's what I'd go check out that video. Mahadev Harish said, hi, Alex, new here. I'm following your videos for months, changing career from Toronto. Hey, good luck. Really, really hope it's helpful. Focus on SQL. If no one's told you, focus on SQL. What do you think about Georgia Tech's Masters in Analytics online? I think it is extremely well priced. It's online. Georgia Tech is a good school. I considered going to that one myself. About 3 years ago, when I first got into the job I'm in now, they had tuition reimbursement. I was this close to going to that exact program. I got in, I applied, got in, and I was going to take it. I thought it was really good. I actually have heard that it's super hard though. Just a warning. That's from all the reviews online. It's like, hey, it's somewhat easy to get in, but It was really difficult, which I liked. I wanted something that was going to really challenge me because I had already had some experience in the field. I wanted to like be challenged. So just know that going in. Frankie, I've done all the Excel tutorials and projects from your channel. Any recommendations for Excel certifications in Coursera or Udemy? Let me see if I have, because I do have, there are ones that I've recommended. Yeah, type it, go to my channel and look and just search for Excel, because I've done a few on them and I do have recommendations. I just can't think of them off the top of my head what they were, if I'm being honest. So yeah, go check out, just look at my channel. I have recommendations. I just can't remember what they're called. I apologize. Mark, Masters in Data Analytics is worth it. This is his opinion. I'm just reading this. Masters in Data Analytics is worth it. Yes, it will get you 120K once you have 4 to 5 years of experience. I mean, I'm over 120K without a master's with 5 years experience. So, I mean, again, kind of what I was saying by that is, and Mark, you are not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying there is something to be said about just doing it with what you have. And if you're able to break in with just what you have, the experience could be, in my opinion, be worth more. Not in all situations, but, you know, I'm an exact counter to that. I don't have a master's degree. My bachelor's degree is in something completely random, right? Like in the therapy realm, like nothing data related. I've just worked my way up. And so, you know, you're right, but then you have a lot of debt. Then you have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt, which I don't have. So just something to think about, you know, just different perspective. But Mark, you could be totally right. For them, it could be worth it. And you potentially can make more money. I'm not saying you can't. You potentially can make more money. That is a fact. Let's see. Maisie, I know we post Power BI projects on Power BI server. Where do we post Excel projects? That's a good question. There is a way to post Excel projects in, and I have done this, in GitHub and display it in a certain way, but it's not optimal, but you can do it. And you couldn't just upload Excel projects into there and they can download it, but then it's a hassle and you can't see it properly. What people have done in the past, and I think this is not a bad idea, which is you can get like a website and just take screenshots of it and post it and do like a narrative blog style portfolio, which I haven't showed you how to do that on my channel, but you might be able to find it elsewhere, and I might do that in the future. But you kind of walk through, hey, here's what I did. Here's how I took the data. Here's my final product, and show it that way. Also, really good questions tonight. Usually, I'm just checking the time. Usually, you know, sometimes more generic questions. I like the specific questions, if I'm being honest. I've been loving your guys' questions tonight. Really, really, really good questions. I like them so far. So don't fail me. I haven't caught up yet, so don't fail me. Would you recommend the University of Texas Data Analytics Bootcamp? Never heard of it, but it could be good. But I'm not a huge bootcamp fan, and it's like a, you know, I'm just not a big bootcamp fan in general. Check out my video on bootcamps. There's a few specific people who can take it. I'm not going to get into bootcamps right now. I could go on a huge tangent. I have on every social media platform and YouTube as well. So I don't want to rehash old things. Let's see. What's the difference between business analyst, data analyst, and data scientist? I have a whole video literally comparing those exact things. But in general, data science is more making predictions, forecasting, using some type of machine learning, hopefully, if you get a good data science job. Data analytics is more building dashboards, reports, digging into data using SQL, potentially Python. And then business analysts are not as technical. Typically, business analysts usually work more on the client side, and they gather requirements, and sometimes they dig in not as deep as a data analyst would, but a little bit into the data, and then provide that to the analytics team, data science team, whoever they're working with, data engineers, database developers. They usually like hand off work sometimes. But business analysts still do technical things. They just typically aren't building dashboards. They're not using a lot of Python. It's mostly SQL, Excel, PowerPoint, things like that. Akshay, what's going on? I feel like Akshay, I don't recognize the last name, but Akshay I recognize. So maybe the same person who came to like the past few. But discuss about the most in-demand data fields from now. Most in-demand data fields, I would say there's 3, and you can take this however you'd like. I think data analytics is definitely up there, as well as data science and data engineering. Those are the 3 that I believe are the most popular right now. in terms of breaking in, I feel like data analytics may be up there in the like number one, number two out of like other data areas, because there's a lot. It's a slightly lower barrier of entry in terms of education, in terms of technical skills. So a lot of people are trying to get into that field because of that, and then progress further, go into data, branch out, go into data science, go into data analytics, continue on the analytics path. But this is a great starting point. I feel, this is my opinion, I feel like when you become a data analyst, and this could have been my trajectory, after a few years in this space, if you then upskill into machine learning and different things, you can branch into data science so much easier than just going from like degree into like a data science job, or straight into a data science job, which is really tough. Having that analytics background, I think, is super helpful and helps you branch out and get experience with a lot of different fields. Let me just give you an example. I have been a data analyst for 5 years, although I'm a analytics manager now. But like a year or two ago, I had the opportunity to become a data scientist within my team. They wanted me to train me to become a data scientist. I just really, it wasn't my thing. That data science is not my thing. And they use machine learning. Like, it would have been a great opportunity. I probably could have made a lot of money. I don't personally enjoy it as much as analytics. So I didn't. But that's an example of, you can then branch out into these other fields and have opportunities. So, those are in-demand fields for sure. Let's see. What are SQL statements you use in your data? Oh, geez, it just skipped down. Sorry, guys. I just lost that question. I think it was going to say I lost it. Yeah, it's too far back. I can't even find it. The question basically was, what SQL statements do you use? I use, your classic select, from, where. I use a lot of case statements. I personally, usually some of the stuff that I'm doing is more intermediate. It's not just the beginner, like the basic stuff, like select everything from this table just to take a look. But when I really start getting into like the later processes of things, like I'm using a lot of case statements, which is just, kind of like a logic. I'm using a lot of subqueries. I use a lot of subqueries, temp tables, but that's at like a higher level. Like the people who don't do that level of work, mostly they're just using like joins, like joining tables, select, from, where, like just the basics. That's probably 90% of the job, is knowing the basics well, not just understanding what it does. I apologize. I really just skipped a bunch of questions and I can't find where I was. So I apologize, but I'm scrolling up to see if I can kind of get in the area. Do you recommend LinkedIn Learning? This is from F. Dermaz. What? Oh, I don't know what that says. Oh, nice. Hey, someone just became a member. Thanks. I appreciate it. Something just popped up on my screen. I didn't understand what that was. But somebody just became a member. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do I recommend LinkedIn Learning? Here's the thing about LinkedIn Learning. I've never done it, but I've heard good things. I've never taken a course. LinkedIn Learning actually wanted me to create a course for them, and I said no. I just don't have the time. So if I had made a course for them, I would definitely recommend it, 100%. But I didn't. I just didn't have the time. So could be good though. I've heard good things. Do you make videos on getting remote data analyst jobs? Kind of talk about it. I have a video on LinkedIn, 3 tips to get a job using LinkedIn. Check out that video. It talks about how to reach out to recruiters in like areas that you want, or jobs that you want to get remote jobs. And that can be applied. So that's just a suggestion. If you ask, you make mac and cheese. Mark, oh, that's from that person earlier. Mark, that's a good suggestion. Mac and cheese is a solid go-to, almost always. Let's see. Now I'm kind of filtering through because I've answered some of these questions before. Any tips on getting a remote data analyst job? Greetings from Argentina. Lissandro, very nice. Good question. So I work with people from other countries. I have contractors on my team from Lithuania, different parts of Europe, India. So for me, from my experience, working with getting into a company like Accenture, TCS, other consulting companies is a really great way to get your foot in the door, you're working through those companies, but then you get that experience and you develop connections with people. And I've hired on people full time from these other countries onto my team because they work for those companies, and then we can hire them on full time. And then they're fully remote. They don't have to move to the US. So, oh, by the way, the member who joined, Hema Penchal, thank you so much. Joined the ATA Superfan Club. Really appreciate it. You guys are what makes these things happen. I really, really appreciate it. So if you want to support the channel, become a member. Really appreciate it. Let's see. So Lissandro, that's my answer. Let's see, Daniel. Can one become a data scientist with a Python course for data science and machine learning on Udemy? That's a good basics. I've taken that one many times. I love that course. I really do. But it's pretty basic. It's basics, the right word. It's pretty fundamentals of machine learning. As I've learned more about machine learning, and I've gone back and like kind of brushed up on it. It's the fundamentals. It's, you need to know that stuff to get started, but it doesn't take you to where you need to be to get a job, in my opinion. And there's a lot to machine learning and Python, specifically if you're going to use Python. There's a lot to it that people use in their actual job. So take that as my feedback. Let's see. Venus Dawson, how did you start your career as an analyst? I want to switch careers from assistant manager to data or business analyst. Any advice on how to do that, please? Quick breakdown of how I broke into the field. I was working as a caretaker at this nonprofit, basically like helping people get people to job interviews and go get haircuts, help them with paperwork. And in that nonprofit, there was a job opening for a data collection specialist and analyst. I ended up being the only person who interviewed. I had a great enthusiasm. I knew the people I was interviewing with, so I had that rapport. They gave me the job. I then transitioned that into a full-time data analyst job at a healthcare analytics company using my domain knowledge mostly. I failed the technical interview. They still gave me a chance because just I have a good, positive attitude. So I got lucky. But a lot of it was just looking at opportunities, finding opportunities, I applied to hundreds and hundreds of jobs. And eventually worked with recruiters. Highly recommend working with recruiters. That would be my biggest advice, is just make a good resume, try to translate your current experience, if you have any domain experience in like a certain field that you think can translate, healthcare, finance, law, there's a lot of different industries. Like you can just look marketing, sales, anything. These are all transferable. Then create a good resume, create a portfolio. If you don't know what that is, check out my portfolio project series where I help people with projects. Do those things and then work with a recruiter to help you find a job. Highly recommend. Let's see. Solo B said, are data analyst skills, SQL, Python, Power BI helpful to get a solution architect role? I don't know. Solution architect could mean a lot of things. They may be more on the architectural side. Maybe they'd be working in Azure, AWS, maybe a little SQL, who knows? I don't know that job very well. I apologize. Would you recommend a paid course over learning through YouTube? Yes, for the most part. And this is, I provide free content, but there's also other channels that provide fantastic free content. A lot of the free content, maybe besides like, Code Academy, Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp's YouTube channel is top notch. They provide free courses on there. Go check out them if you want like a full free course. But in general, there are paid courses that are just better. And they just are more well-rounded, and they're more well-rounded because they are charging for it. So I have a lot of courses, and I have a whole playlist of courses that I recommend that I've taken many times and I love. In general, though, you can learn a ton of stuff for free on YouTube, though. And I recommend starting there. Anybody starting there. Let's see. Would you be doing more videos for SQL projects? Would need more on guidance? Yeah, I will. I actually am going to be doing, after my Python series, I'm going to be doing a MySQL series because a lot of people don't want to learn SQL Server. They want MySQL, and I get it. So I'm going to be doing a MySQL series in the future, but my Python series is going to be really long. I love Python. I'm obsessed with it. I'm doing a Python basics, pandas, a matplotlib series, matplotlib and Seaborn series, and then a web scraping series using Python and how to do everything, how to set everything up, how to automate it all. I'm doing a whole series on it, not just one video like I've done in the past. And then after that, I have projects as well in each of those. I mean, it could be like 3-4 months of just Python, guys. If you don't like Python, I apologize because I love it. After that, I plan on doing a MySQL course, even though I have my basics for SQL Server. I want to it's been like 3 years. I want to update that for MySQL and make those videos a lot nicer, a lot better, more well structured, because now I have better experience. I'm better at making these things now, at least I feel. And so, but I'll be doing more projects through the MySQL stuff for sure. Let's see. Does an entry-level analyst need to know anything cloud-based technologies like Azure, AWS? Billy T83, that is actually a really, really, really good question. And something that 5 years ago, it wasn't a necessity. It was not. You didn't need to know it. Most people had on-prem servers that they used, and some were switching to the cloud. A lot of companies are switching to the cloud these days. You don't need to know it. In fact, a lot of times when you get into a role, they don't even require it because they just like optional. They'll train you because a lot of people don't have it. But if you do know it and you have it on your resume, it gives you an advantage over other people, especially if that company already uses Azure or AWS or Google Cloud Platform or Databricks or any of these other cloud-based platforms. So yes, if you can, learn it. If you haven't learned the basics yet, focus on the basics first. But I have predicted that in 5 years, that's going to be more of a demand, more of a requirement to getting an entry-level job. It's just going to be more, in my opinion, standard practice rather than just people training. Oh, Stan, thanks for becoming a member, my friend. Stan Bariella. I butchered that. I apologize. By the way, when you become a member, you get custom, well, not custom, you get emojis. So I'm going to post on the chat. These are ridiculous. They're so funny. Let me see if it works. I'm going to come back up to this. There we go. You just do colon and ALEX, and then you get all these other ones. I'm going to be adding more later. But I find them absolutely hilarious. They're just they're my face, and you can add them in comments and live chats and stuff like that. Oh, whoops. I changed something. Let me go back. Whenever I have these shortcuts on my screen now, I'm going to try to be doing live tutorials in the future where I can share my screen, have me in the corner. I'm not good at this live streaming stuff, so I've been like really researching, watching YouTube tutorials, trying to get better at this stuff. So I'm going to try to, in the future, be doing that and doing some like live coding stuff, which I think would be really interesting. Anyways, let's go back up. Let's go back up to these questions. I skipped a few again. Jeez, I'm so bad at this. Yo, you have to do colon. Hema, you got to do colon. Oh, it's gorilla. Stan. Oh, Barilla like gorilla. Got it. Stan Barilla. That's a cool last name. That's very unique. I've never heard of that. I see your question. Actually, I'm going to answer your or read what you wrote, and then I'll go back up. But Hema, I saw you had to do a colon, not a semicolon. Is that right? Yeah, colon. He said, going for a career change, and you're helping me a lot. I'm on course 8 of Google Data Analytics and loving it. Stan, that's awesome, man. I'm glad it's going well. I really hope my channel can be of help to you. Really, really awesome to see in here. Let's see. Is an MBA worth it for data field? It can be. That was another way I thought I was going to go an MBA for business analytics with a business analytics specialization. It could be for some people who like the business side of things. Again, I never committed to it, but it could be worth it if you really like it and want to do that. Hi, this one, it says, hey, Alex, wondering if Luke let you know if he heard the song last stream. Also, how was the vacation? Alex W. Yeah, that's super nice of you to ask that. How my vacation was. My vacation was really good. We went up to Pennsylvania. It was beautiful. Spent a lot of time with family, and we went apple picking, and my kids got to meet some second cousins. My wife's aunt. So I think it's like second aunts or cousins. I don't even know. Some family. It was a good thing. If Luke heard the song, yes, and he messaged me and he thought it was funny. Luke's a good guy. He didn't take offense to anything, and it was more of a love song than anything. It was very weird. But I don't do those in these live streams. I do that in like my 300,000, my next 350,000 live stream. So like when I hit 350, I'll do another live stream, and it'll be just as weird. And you should join those because they get pretty interesting. If you can learn R or Python, you can easily learn the other. Yeah, somewhat true, Mark. I would agree, somewhat true. Brandon says, I just finished your beginning Excel tutorial. What course tutorial do you recommend I do next? I'm thinking of learning statistics. Statistics is great. I use it, although I don't like actively use it. I'm not like, what statistical models, statistical concepts can I utilize? But learning the basic statistics is really good. And there is a good Udemy course on statistics. I have a whole video just around that one course because a lot of people ask that question. So might be worth looking into. But if you haven't learned SQL, Tableau or Power BI, Excel, like focus on those. Focus on those for sure at the beginning. I always recommend just focusing on those at the beginning and then branching out into the more complicated topics or programming languages, etc. Mahadev Harish is asking another question, said how to build projects and not stuck with courses, how to get data inspiration from. So yeah, you can get in like course purgatory, something I've coined in the past. You can get stuck in course purgatory where you just take thousands of them and you don't really apply it. You don't really lock it in your head and memorize it or remember it. I usually get it from like everyday life. I'm like, oh, I'm interested in, prices of these shirts that I want to buy. They're fluctuating. Let me create a web scraping script where I can web scrape it, put it into an Excel, and then or keep it in Python or whatever you want to do. Put it in a data frame in Pandas and analyze it, or track my finances or whatever. I just get inspiration from like things I'm curious in, and then I look and find data for it. That's what I do. Let's keep looking. I'm looking through more questions. I've answered a lot of these. I know there's more people filtering through, but I recently answered some of these, so I'm not gonna answer them all. Oh, this is a good one. Tone Poet. Alex, how can you find a mentor with getting good at projects? I'm finishing up the Google Analytics course in Coursera and need some direction with leveling up. So yeah, mentorship. So when I first started out, I got really lucky. I just had good mentors in my jobs. Like in my jobs, they mentored me well. So if you can get a job, fantastic. Hopefully you can find just a mentor, someone you work with. Finding a mentor before you actually get a job is a little more difficult or complicated. For example, I have a mentorship program. I have usually 8 to 10 people who are trying to switch careers or get into the field, and I mentor them and I meet with them monthly. But I always am full. I never have an empty slot, unfortunately. And so, that is one way to do it though, is look at people, look online for analytics mentorship, data analyst mentors. There are other YouTubers who do this as well. There is, who is it? Tina Huang has her Lonely Octopus. If you've never heard of that, go on her channel, look up Lonely Octopus. It's like a mentorship accountability program that she has. So there are people who develop these things and build these things. So mentorship can be hard to find, but also, there are programs and platforms for that. I just don't know a lot of them. So reaching out, asking people, you can ask people, like if you have a good relationship or rapport with someone on even LinkedIn and you're like, hey, we've been chatting for a while, you just built that relationship, I would really love to just be able to bounce ideas off of you every so often. That is a mentor. You can get a mentor through that and develop relationships online without ever meeting anybody. So that's what I'd recommend. Let's see. I'm colorblind. Can I still become a good data analyst? Absolutely. The color stuff, like in building visualizations, it's a little important, but honestly, do not let that be a deterrent at all. Most of the work you'll be doing is like in SQL, Excel, where color does not matter. So absolutely 100%. Yeah. Melody, ACA superfan, Melody has been a huge supporter of the channel for a long time. It's been years. It's probably been 2 years. And she's come to almost every live stream. So Melody, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Appreciate you joining. For real though, Melody, I feel like you've come to every single one. I see you here every time, and I appreciate it. I really do. Tableau or Power BI, either. They're both great. And in fact, I use both. I know both. I use both in different situations and scenarios with consulting. Sometimes I use Tableau. With my full-time job, we use Power BI. They're both great. But learning, I typically recommend people learning Tableau first because they have Tableau public. And if you learn Tableau, it's pretty transferable to Power BI. It's pretty transferable. A little different. And I have tutorials on both, but I like Tableau because you have Tableau Public. That's what I like about it. Let's see. This thing skips some and I don't like. Luke joined. I just saw his thing. I apologize. Alex, when are you breaking out the wine and guitar? Luke, that was last stream, my friend. And in fact, you know, if you don't remember, I sang about you. If you weren't there, I sang about you. Someone was just asking about that before earlier. That was last stream. When I hit 300,000, and I did a wine stream is what I called it. Yeah, I had some ukulele, had some guitar. It was not bad, although I realized why. Next time I do it, I have to change a setting on my mic, and the guitar portion will be better, and I apologize. But yeah, no, I appreciate you joining. What's going on? You're doing all right. This is my monthly live stream. You need to get a monthly live stream going, man. People go crazy for it. They don't go crazy for mine, but they'll go crazy for yours, I promise. Axel said, please tell us the characteristics of your machine. How much RAM does your computer have? I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's is an HP Omen 15, 1 terabyte SSD hard drive, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Perfectly fine for almost anything you need. Yeah, but you don't need those specs. You can do it with a lot less. I just use this for my YouTube stuff. That's why I use it. Let's see. Oh, who do we got here? Mark Anderson, dude. Mark's been killing it in the chat today, and then he decides to become a member of the channel. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate it. You guys are like, you guys are what is making this happen for real. And I love doing these monthly live streams, be able to chat with you guys, talk with you guys, answer questions. So thank you guys. Tone Poet, Luke's on. How cool. What about me? Is it cool that I'm here? Tone Poet just cares that Luke's here. Go to Luke's channel. I'm just kidding, man. That was rude. I apologize. I'm just messing. All right. Luke said, I'm drinking wine watching the show. Luke said he's too scared to live stream. Luke said me. That is, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you guys. Yeah. No, Luke, for real. People would definitely watch your live stream, 100%. But it's not as easy as it looks. All right. This is tough stuff. Yeah, start asking Luke questions in here. Tell him and force him to start a live stream as well. And then maybe we'll do a live stream together. That'd be fun. Let's see. Yeah, geez, Tone Poet, Luke's on, how cool. Really, really overlooking me there. Hurt my feelings. I'm just messing. Let's see. I cannot switch jobs for plus or minus 2 years, visa stuff, but wanted to get a feeling for interviews. Can I do it? Even having to say no in the end, will I burn a bridge? No, not really. I mean, there's not a huge point in interviewing though, except for experience, learning. But no, I mean, no, you're definitely not going to burn a bridge. Like if you interview with, let's say like Microsoft, and then you're like, no, you turn it down. They're not going to blacklist you. They're just going to be like, hey, this guy rejected our offer. Maybe we'll get him next time. So no, it doesn't burn a bridge. I don't believe so. Roberto said, hey, Alex, I'm from Brazil and finishing up Google Analytics, studying Excel and SQL. Hope everything goes fine in the end. I'm putting in a lot of effort. That's fantastic, man. That's half the battle, is just putting in the time and learning it. So I hope it's going well. Really great. Riyadh said, if you decide to go for a master, what will you master in? I'm almost certain I'm not going to go back and get a master's. Although about 3 years ago, I was this close to going back and getting a master's. I was going to get it in data analytics, or I was really considering an MBA because I do have a more business side of things, even before my YouTube stuff or my consulting stuff that I do now. I've always had kind of a business mind, so I thought about an MBA with a business analytics specialization, but never did it. I don't think I will. I'm using Sharpest Minds for my mentorship. Sharpest Minds, never heard of it, not endorsing it in any way, but something called Sharpest Minds. Look into it. See if it's any good. RV Show, what's going on? RV Show won in the live stream last time. I gave away Udemy courses as well as one-on-one sessions, which I just met with somebody for one of my one-on-one sessions, and it went great. It was really good. But RV Show won one of the Udemy courses. Yeah, it's still on its way. My contact at Udemy, he put in the request. He's just waiting for it back. So once I hear, you'll hear. And RV, I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Mickle, this is interesting. Mickle said, I created a YouTube search query. Scraping project, I don't know the typo, for my favorite mobile game in Python. Also, we're looking for apartments in Canada. I created a web scraping project with Power Automate. Very cool. Yeah. So just things you're interested in, right? Like if you're curious about like YouTube videos or how many videos have this keyword in it, like there are ways to do that. Use like the YouTube API, scrape it illegally, do whatever you want, man. It's a free country. Well, the United States is a free country, but you can still get in trouble for that. So you don't listen to me. Let's see. Mark Anderson said, Alex, if you're interested in establishing a mentor pool, I can help out. I don't have the time. I really don't. My life has only gotten busier in the past like couple of years. If I had time to like mentor 100 people, I would, because I enjoy it so much. But yeah, I do not have the time. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Hi, Cindy. My cat just came in. Don't go to Luke's channel. Stay here. That's from the mouth of Luke Barouse. He said, stay here. I think we should just do that forever. Just always stay on my channel. Don't go to Luke's. There's no reason. And it's not because I don't like the guy. I just have better content. I'm just messing. All right, let me go back to the questions. Once I start reading like comments from Luke, then I start getting like I start getting jokey. And once I start getting jokey, it's a downhill battle. You guys should have seen me last stream, because I had like a full glass and a half of wine in me, which may not seem like a lot, but for me, lightweight, it was a lot. And things started getting wild. I just started doing random stuff. I always have a good time though. It's all PG. Invite your family, bring your kids. Analytics is important in life, and they need to learn. They need to start early. Where am I? Let me see. I'm still reading through questions at the moment. And we're at 8:45. We're doing great. We're doing really good. I feel like I'm actually catching up on questions, which is good. Hi, Alex. This is Cesar Duarte. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Alex. I'm from Argentina, and I'm finding your vids was the best that can happen to me. Thanks a lot. You are the best. Caesar, you are the best. I appreciate you joining. Really hope my channel can help you. Yeah. Absolutely. Super, super, super glad to hear that. Statistics versus programming skills. Programming skills in most cases, statistics in some others. Like finance. I think statistics in the finance of analytics is more important than programming, because you may not even use programming in statistics, although they sometimes use more Python than others. But yeah, I mean, they're both relevant. I don't think I can choose one over the other. Hey, Alex, how many Vijay Rangvani. Hey, Alex, how many projects should there be in a portfolio for transition? I typically recommend 3 to 5. Now, what you should do, and this is just my opinion, I always say this is my opinion, but I think starting out with 3 is good. Then, and just basic ones, simple ones, something to get you started, like following my projects. They aren't crazy advanced. Some are a little more advanced than others. But get something on the plate, get something in your portfolio. Then, after you have the experience, you get better at the skills, create your own and make them better or make them more advanced. And then replace your older ones with your new, more advanced ones. That's what I would do. The 3 to 5 is typical. You can add more, knock it out of the park, do 10. But I think you can do 3 to 5 high quality ones that you put a lot of time and effort in, instead of like 2 or 10, like just like basic beginner ones. That's what I would do. Gabby C. Hi, Alex. I watched all of your videos. Jeez, I got like 200. If you're being serious, that's a lot of videos. More power to you. How much Python do I need to know in order to put it on my resume? Python is more difficult than saying for SQL. It's not as straightforward as SQL. The Python basics, just learning variables, data types, for loops, while loops, that kind of stuff, you can put it on your resume. And I recommend doing that. Like once you know those things well, like put it on your resume, right? But if you really want to feel like confident in it, you know, you're going to want to know how to create, not variables. Oh, I can't even think of the word. You're going to want to know some more things, right? I would even try to learn like pandas, which is a data analytics package within Python, you know, but Luke is, not Luke. I got Luke on the brain. Sorry, Luke. Python is just very general. It's if you're looking for a data analytics job and you just put Python and they ask you, hey, how do you use Python for data analytics? And you're like, well, I know how to do a for loop. It's not as direct as SQL as where you can just put or you can just know like the basics. You need to know the basics and some a little bit more, in my opinion, to really know it or at least put on your resume. But my thoughts on it. Oh, geez. I skipped forward some. I apologize. Oh, where am I? Oh, geez. Where did I go? I was just looking. Oh, okay. Wait. Will there ever be a YouTuber boxing match between you and Luke? If not, at least a dance-off. Also, who would win? Luke would win, especially in the boxing one, because that he's jacked. If you guys have never seen, no, we didn't. I don't think we talked about it in the last one, but yeah, Luke's in shape. I am not. No, that's not true. I would say on like a scale of 1 to 10, Luke's like a 7 or 8, maybe 9, maybe even a 10. I mean, you guys saw him in the hot tub live stream from he's in shape. But I mean, like, he's not like bodybuilder, so I'm not that crazy, but that dude's in shape. I am not. I'm like a 4. I'm not a 1, as many people would assume. I am a 4 or a 5. He would win. Dance off? I don't know. I'm terrible at dancing, but I can make motions that look somewhat good. Probably Luke again. I feel like Luke is just better at that. Let's see. Sandro Leilas said, how scary presentations can be at the very beginning. When I had no confidence and I didn't know what I was doing, I was quite nervous. They can be a little intimidating, especially when your boss is sitting there, maybe their boss as well, and they're like, hey, present this information. And you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. Like, you don't know exactly what to say. You don't know exactly what they want. That comes just with experience. You're going to fail at the beginning. And I failed at the beginning. And then they would ask follow-up questions. And I'd be like, I don't know. I wish I knew that. But as I learned, did it more, then I'm like, oh, I already know what they're going to ask. Let me just add that to it because I know they're going to want to know this. And you just learn. Just go from there. How should I begin my data science journey? Check out Kenji's channel, because that's data science. Or Tina Huang, who also does data science, or a few other really good YouTubers who do data science. But, those are the two I'll just shout out real quick. Let's see. Oh, it skipped again. I don't know why it does that. It does it every time I'm in this thing. Every single time. So annoying. Skipped. I'm just reading through questions, trying to find one. Oh, this is a good one. Mamacita. What was the hardest concept for you to grasp in your journey to data analytics? When I first learned SQL, okay, so I'll just take you through my thought process. But when I first learned Excel, it was pretty straightforward. I actually picked up Excel pretty easily because Excel isn't like crazy hard. Pivot tables confused me for a while, but it still wasn't very hard. But when I learned SQL took me probably a good 3 months to learn well. I feel like, at least, I somewhat make it look easy in the tutorials and whatnot. But even when I was following tutorials, like, I thought it was really challenging. Like, it was really challenging. But then I got it. And then I encountered Python. And Python blew my mind. That took me 4 months to just grasp the basics. Python was really a challenge for me until I finally got it, and then like a light bulb moment. And now I can do almost any, I don't want to say anything in Python, but I can do most things. I can figure out how to do almost anything in Python because I really understand it on like a fundamental level of how programming works now, as before I did not. And so SQL at first was the hardest thing for sure. Then it was Python. Tableau, Power BI came pretty easy to me. I used it in my job before I ever started really learning it. So I got experience using it firsthand, which helped a lot. Let's see. Okay, so Frothy, I'm just gonna call it Frothy. Why? I don't know if that's your name or if that's like I apologize for laughing. I don't know, it could be your name, but the name's Frothy. Do you think employers would give someone an entry-level data analyst position if they had the Google certification, few months of professional work experience with some data analytics experience? Yeah, I do. I do think they would. How long after an interview should I give up on a job if they don't reach out? That's a great question. I've struggled with that myself. I usually do about a week or two. Like after 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, they're not calling. And I'll give you an example. Like I'm a hiring manager now. I interview a lot of people because we have contractors that come through and they stay for like 6 months and then, they move on to something else. So I interview a lot of people. Usually our interview process is actually one of the faster ones. Like we probably within like about a week will notify people, but I know companies that take longer. Like they have a long interview, long interview process, and they have multiple candidates. So they have to wait on somebody, and then they don't get back. Like something happens, and they have to interview them like the next week, and then give them 2 weeks. And then email. I would even email them like at a week. Hey, any update? Just either the recruiter or the hiring manager. Say, hey, really excited about this position. Just wanted to check in, and they'll hopefully let you know. But after 2 weeks, usually not a great chance, in my opinion. Sahil Jasal said, how to transition into healthcare industry as a data analyst. Are there any specific tools or skills we need to learn apart from the general things? You're asking the right person. I've been working in healthcare for many, many years. And in general, it's hard to study healthcare data without working in it or being a data analyst in it or working in the healthcare side of things. Like you probably, and you may or may not, but most people, if they don't come from healthcare and they want to go into healthcare, they don't know what claims are. They don't know what ICD codes are, CPT codes, Lloyd codes, all these different types of codes that are healthcare related, or claims that are like billing related, or EHR systems that are the way that data is stored for health for hospitals. It's hard to learn these things if you don't have that type of experience. So no, though, I think just learning the Excel, SQL, Tableau, like start with the basics. I always just recommend starting with those. And you just got to get experience. Healthcare is a unique one. You just got to get experience in it to really understand like how it all works, because it is a beast. It is a beast. Let's see. Ella, I'll just read it. It says, I currently work in arts administration and hope to transition to data analytics. Not sure if data analytics and the arts mix, but I'm open to hear other industries that are hopefully close to the arts. To the arts. I don't know anything off the top of my head. Maybe someone in chat could give you some options, but typically, I feel like you, like me, I got lucky because mine's somewhat related to healthcare. But if I wasn't related to healthcare, I would just kind of scrap my previous history in like if I came from one that I can't find any domain knowledge that I can use, I scrap. I was just working with someone who had this exact scenario. I could not think of certain industries that would be really relevant. I was like, listen, your experience is not super relevant. It's like I feel like what would be best is to somewhat scrap your previous history, build up your experience now, build projects, build your data analyst portfolio, build up your resume through skills and other things, and just try to completely transition, because I was like, I don't see a lot of opportunities in my opinion. But I gave him some resources to help, but that's maybe what I would do. But if anybody has any other suggestions, like put it in the chat, help her out. Just reading through. Oh Jesus, skip down again. Give me a second. Going back up. Mark Anderson said, possible data projects for portfolio, crime data, movies, TV shows, regional data, weather history, Wall Street trends, pet data. Great suggestions, Mark. And great star next to your name for becoming a member of the channel. You guys should check that out. I've been plugging myself this video. I've not been doing it like super intentionally. I just think it's funny. So I apologize. You guys don't have to, but it's kind. It's nice of you to support the channel. You have an interview scheduled, whip up a project on that industry. I agree with that, actually. And this tiny tangent, that's something that I did when I was first starting out building my portfolio, like actually taking it seriously, and I was building a portfolio out. I built a few healthcare specific ones with healthcare data, with like fake claims data that I found, a data set on like ICD codes that I found, which I have experience in. I built some projects out like that, and it was really helpful. Also, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go for maybe 10, 15 more minutes. My wife wants to sleep at some point tonight. I guarantee it. She's always wanting to sleep at night. which makes sense. I'm just messing. I love you. I love you, Christine. Love of my life, right there. Okay, let's see. Reading through questions. Keep them coming. Let's see. I don't like Python. Oprah, you can leave. I'm just kidding, Oprah Jones. Thank you for being here. Yeah, if you don't like Python, don't use Python. You don't have to learn a programming language. You don't have to learn R, Python, Scala, a few other ones. You don't have to learn them. You don't. You can not easily, but you can become a data analyst learning no programming languages. It is absolutely possible. Any advice to a beginner struggling to learn Python? Yes. I highly recommend just taking a beginner's level Python course, learning the fundamentals, and that's probably what you're doing, but learning the fundamentals, and then try to build something. Try to use those skills. I'll be doing that on my channel where I'll have the Python courses or lessons, or tutorials, but then having projects that build off of that. It's really all you can do is just practice and taking courses and learning and building stuff with it. Just do your best. Let's see. Abo Timo said, thank you for valuable content. How to lie in the interviews, LOL. I am a hiring manager, and let me just, and this is me. This is my perspective. From a lot of things, especially technical things, I know if you're lying. I can tell. I had this, I don't know. Oh, give me a second. I got to readjust. I got to just get comfy. I had somebody come in to an interview, and this is just one example, but I'll kind of be more broad in a second. But I had someone come into an interview, said he knew SQL, said 3 years experience on his resume, which we were looking for someone who knew SQL well. Came in for the interview, gave him a technical interview, and he tried to walk through it, and I tried to understand it and tried to help him out. But I'm telling you, that guy's never used SQL in his life, and I could tell in a heartbeat. It was like immediate, and I said, no, definitely not hiring this guy. I was like, because one, he has 3 years experience on his resume. I'm not hiring like somebody who's telling me they know it and they don't. What else on their resume don't they know and they put on there? It was generally, it's like I met with, because I wasn't the hiring manager for that interview. I was just the technical interview. So I did the technical interview portion of the interview. And he just bombed it. I got out of the interview. I told my boss at the time, I said, don't hire this guy. I was like, that was my opinion. I was like, he seems nice, but I just get a bad vibe, especially how he was answering those technical questions. We need someone who at least knows that level. And I can tell you he did not. And she's like, good feedback, and we didn't hire him. That's just an example. But in general, lying is just, if you say you have experience and they ask follow-up questions and you don't answer it correctly, you make yourself, you ruin the interview. Like it's bad. It can be bad. It's just my opinion. And some people lie on their resume. Some people lie on the interviews and it works. But it's just, yeah, I don't think it's a great choice for most people. That's just my opinion. Hema Panchal, is that how you pronounce it? Let me know. I like to pronounce people's names correctly. But Hema Panchal said, when one doesn't have any experience, can we talk about the project we work on rather? I'm so glad you brought that up. I haven't talked about that. Well, at least today. I've talked about that in the past. 100%. And this is something that I don't think that people think about when they're building projects, but that is the reason, one of the reasons you build projects, because you don't have any experience. So when you get into an interview, and anybody can get into an interview, if you have a good resume, you should be getting interviews. When you get into an interview and they say, we see you have SQL on your resume, how have you used it? You've never used it, you don't have any experience, and you say, well, I actually just built out this project. I brought in this data. I created the tables, created all these things, but I was doing, and here's how I used it. I queried the data using these techniques. You know how to use joins and different things, and you talk them through those skills. That is one of the biggest reasons, but probably 50-50 between showing them off and letting the interview or hiring manager look at your code. The other half of that is the reason so that you can point to that and say, I don't have experience in the field, but I have experience building this out and working through these issues. And here's some of the issues that I experienced. That is like invaluable. That is, and here I'm really glad you asked that, because that is why you build it out. That's part of the reason you get experience building projects. You're building your own experience. It really is. That's a great question. Abotimo, thank you so much for the what's that called? I don't know if it's called a donation or but you gave me $3 and I really appreciate it. Thank you. It was very kind. And you're using the thing. This is my reaction to that donation. There we go. There we go. That's my reaction. All right, let me see. Yeah, Hema, great question. Really, really genuinely. That was a very good question. I wish I should have brought that up earlier. I've answered several of these. Oh, I did that thing again. Sorry, guys. I need to change those hotkeys. There's this thing called hotkeys, and you guys can see it now. There's this thing called hotkeys in here. And the hotkeys, when I click it on my computer, it changes it to this different thing, and I need to change it because I keep hitting it. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I'll change it back. You guys can see what's going on here. Let's see. All right. We got, like, let's say 5 more minutes. We got like 5 more minutes or so. So I'm just going to see if there's any other ones. Let's see. Stefan asked if we have any coupons for like the Coursera Plus. I used to. I have in previous videos, but I don't know if they have anything active going right now. I'm sorry. But I just Google it, see if they have anything. How often do I do these Q&As? George Mendez. I'm going to be doing these once a month. I'm extremely committed. I have upped. You don't go back. Do not go back to like 6 months ago when I was using my webcam, my other mic. Don't do it because they're terrible. But I've really upped my game, I feel like, with the quality and all this stuff. I've invested a lot. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing these monthly because I'm really invested in it. Because I love doing this. Like, this has been really enjoyable to me. So hopefully monthly. Let's see. Stan, in arts administration, do you work on grant applications, science labs, apply for grants? Oh, that's a good question, Stan. I don't know. We'll see if they respond. Will you make videos on your setup, camera, sound, etc.? That's a good question, and it leads me to something else I'm working on, or I'm going to be working on. AJ Jones asked if I'm going to be showing my camera setup and everything. Yes, and the reason I want to do that actually is I want to encourage people in the future to create their own YouTube channels, document their own journey, even create a portfolio using YouTube. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to show you how I record my screen, how you can do it on a budget where it's like just using your phone and doing it very cheaply, because that's how I started out. I now have more expensive equipment than what I started out with. But if you're just starting out, you can use your phone. You can use a lapel mic that costs $20, and like a light that costs $40, and you have a setup. Bam, it's like $60 and you're done. And I want to show people how I create these videos and edit videos so that you can create. I might have like a 3-part series just to help people do that, because one, you can start your own channel, which would be really cool, and share your journey and also help other people. And it really looks good to employers if you do it right. I don't recommend sharing your YouTube channel to people if it's not data analyst centered. But yeah, I definitely will be doing that one. Let's see. Handball said, thanks for the interview answer. Had an interview 1.5 weeks ago and thought I absolutely killed it, but no response from the company yet. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, sometimes you just got to reach out. And now a week and a half later, I would just reach out and say like, hey, any update? Really love the interview, love the company, whatever you want to say. Hassan said, do you think Python plus Pandas is a winning combo? Yes. Do you need to be good at math to be a data analyst? Like Mark just said, math, you do use math for sure. And I think that it's a byproduct of being a data analyst. I don't know if you necessarily need to know a lot of it right up front. But yeah, math is something that you will pick up if you get a data analyst job, as well as it's really good to know up front, and just knowing basic calculations, knowing how, knowing some simple statistics, it's good to know for sure. Let's see. We're closing in on the end, guys. I'm feeling it. I don't want it to end, but I feel it. Best platform for looking at a data analyst job. Sorry, I was reading something else, which was just funny to me. Best platform, I like LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn's really good. I also just working with a recruiter. Those are usually the two that I recommend. You can use others, but I haven't had as much luck with like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster. I never had a lot of luck with those. Now I just don't use them anymore. Is Kibana hot right now? What is Kibana? Does anybody know what that is? I feel like that could be something inappropriate. I really don't know. Ahmed, I don't know what that is. I apologize. Nadim, you deserve more than 1 million subscribers. Hey, you know what? You're so right. No, I really appreciate you saying that. One day I hope to cross 1 million. I am in this for the long haul. I don't see myself quitting YouTube or stopping to do YouTube unless there's a crazy like CEO position of Google and they're like, hey, you can't have a YouTube channel anymore. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. But other than that, there's like nothing that's going to stop me from having a YouTube channel. I love it. It's like it's become one of my favorite things. It really has. I love it. Is AI a threat to data analysts? No, not a ton at the moment, especially with where they're currently at. There are platforms that help data analysts do their job faster in some cases, but data is very complex. Unless you know exactly, like you can use AI or machine learning to analyze things if you already program it in and know what you're looking for. But there's always more things to analyze. There's always more things to do. And so, no, I don't think it's a huge threat, at least in the next probably 20 years. Maybe in 20 years, there's huge advancements and it's very possible. Not yet. That I've seen. And I've seen a lot, like I see a lot of artificial intelligence stuff because a lot of these companies reach out to me saying, hey, we're a data analytics AI company. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's not a huge value proposition. That doesn't actually solve like a ton of business issues in my opinion, but they do it. And I'm sure people buy it. Sahil Jasal said, how much do you earn from YouTube? Will you consider doing this full time anytime in the future? I earn some money. I actually earn more from like consulting and sponsorships, which are super appreciative because it allows me to convince my wife to let me keep doing this. She doesn't let me keep doing this. She loves it and supports it fully, but it's a good reason for me to go to my wife and be like, hey, I'm making some money out of this, so I'm going to keep doing it. And she's like, yeah, for sure. And you love it. So she's super supportive, but I make some money. I'm not going to get into details. Maybe I will in the future, but it's not just like one thing. It's a lot, and it's very variable, and it changes month to month because some months it's like a lot less than other months, or I don't know. But I don't want to get into specifics. But yeah, I earn money from it, and it's great, but not replacing my job great yet. That consulting stuff that I do on the side, that actually does pretty well. I'll talk about that at a later time, I'm sure. All right, guys, we gotta. Let me see if there's any other questions I got to do right now. Okay. I know there are other questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to them. It's 9:15. I said I was going to stop at 9:15. With it being said, thank you guys for joining. This was October stream. I'll be doing a November stream, a December stream. Guarantee you Santa might make a guest appearance. I'm not making any promises. I know the guy. We're friends. He likes the channel. He's a friend of the show. Might be making an appearance. He made an appearance about 2 years ago. He wasn't able to make it last year. He might make it this year. So thank you guys for joining. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you to all the members who joined just in the session. Like, you guys are awesome. If you guys haven't joined the channel already, you get cool emojis like this one. Let me do this one because this is like sad Alex, where I'm sad. I like that one. I'm going to be making more of these too because I think they're really stupid and funny. So I'm going to be making more of these. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are why I do this, because I just enjoy it. I love talking with you, hanging out with you. Melody, you have a happy Halloween too. That's a good point. Happy Halloween. Mid-career videos. Mark, good suggestion. I have actually one that I have planned. I don't know when I'm going to post it though, but I do have one planned for something more mid-level. Yes. Like the YouTube button. I didn't even know you could do that. Melly with the happy Alex face. Oh, I did that thing again. All right, I'm getting out of here. Bye, guys. Wait, how do I stop this? There we go.